Welcome to our UK singles chart review, and this time we're reviewing each of the artists and songs that reached number 1 on the UK singles chart during 1977. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of new content. Thanks. Before we review the number 1s, here's a quick preview of the 13 singles that just missed out and only made number 2 on the chart. There'll be a separate video posted to this channel that reviews the near misses, so keep a lookout for that. Now, on with the show. First up, for 1977, it's Johnny Mathis with his version of When a Child is Born, a song with a melody based on a 1974 tune by Ciro D'Amico, with English lyrics written by Austrian composer Fred J. When a Child is Born was the 12th of Johnny Mathis's 16 UK charting singles, with his first being Teacher Teacher in 1958. It was also his sole UK number 1 hit. The song entered the chart at number 45 on the 7th of November 1976, and it reached number 1 on the 19th of December. It stayed at the top of the chart for 3 weeks, and it spent 14 weeks on the chart in total.
When a child is born.
When a Child is Born was included on Johnny Mathis's 1976 album, I Only Have Eyes for You. The album contained 10 tracks, and it peaked at number 14 on the UK album chart. Johnny Mathis next charted with a pair of duets with Deniece Williams in 1978. First, the duo peaked at number 3 with Too Much Too Little Too Late. Then they reached number 45 with You're All I Need to Get By. Next to number 1, it was Chicago-born actor and star of TV's Starsky and Hutch, David Soul, with Don't Give Up on Us. This was the first of David Soul's 5 UK chart hits, and it gave him the first of his 2 UK number 1s. It entered the chart at number 37 on the 12th of December 1976, and it reached the top spot 4 weeks later, where it stayed for 4 weeks. It spent a total of 16 weeks on the chart.
Don't give up on us, baby.
Don't Give Up on Us didn't originally appear on a studio album, but it was added to later editions of David Soul's self-titled 1976 debut album. The album contained 11 tracks, and it peaked at number 2 on the UK album chart. David Soul next charted in March with Going In With My Eyes Open, which peaked at number 2. He then hit the number 1 spot again later in 1977 with Silver Lady. We'll hear more about that later in the video. English singer and actress Julie Covington replaced David Soul at number 1 with Don't Cry for Me Argentina, which was written and composed by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. Don't Cry for Me Argentina was the first of Julie Covington's 3 UK singles chart entries, and it was her sole UK number 1. The song entered the chart at number 37 on the 19th of December 1976, and it reached number 1 on the 6th of February 1977. It stayed at the top of the chart for a single week, and it spent a total of 15 weeks on the chart.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
Don't Cry for Me Argentina was recorded for the 1976 concept album Evita, and it was later included in the 1978 musical of the same name. The album contained 23 tracks, and it peaked at number 4 on the UK album chart. Julie Covington had further chart success in late 1977 with her cover version of Alice Cooper's Only Women Bleed, with the single peaking at number 12. Don't Cry for Me Argentina also re-entered the chart in 1978, this time reaching number 63. Following Julie Covington to number 1, it was Leo Sayer with his version of When I Need You, a song written by Albert Hammond and Carol Bayer Sager, and which was first recorded by Hammond in 1976. When I Need You was the 6th of Leo Sayer's 19 UK charting singles, and it gave him the first of his 2 UK number 1 hits. It entered the chart at number 15 on the 23rd of January, and it reached number 1 3 weeks later. It stayed at the top for 3 weeks, and it spent a total of 13 weeks on the chart. When I Need You was one of 10 tracks included on Leo Sayer's 4th studio album, Endless Flight. The album peaked at number 4 on the UK album chart. Leo Sayer charted 2 more times in 1977. How Much Is Love peaked at number 10 in May, and Thunder in My Heart reached number 22 in October. Up next, it was the Manhattan Transfer with Chanson d'amour, which was written by Wayne Shanklin and first recorded by Art and Dottie Todd in 1958. This was the second of the Manhattan Transfer's 9 UK charting singles, and it was the group's sole UK number 1 hit. Chanson d'amour entered the chart at number 40 on the 30th of January, and it reached number 1 on the 6th of March, where it remained for 3 weeks. The single spent a total of 13 weeks on the chart. Chanson d'amour was included on the Manhattan Transfer's third album, Coming Out. The album featured 12 tracks, and it reached number 12 on the UK album chart. The group next charted with Don't Let Go in May 1977, which peaked at number 32. Their next single, Walk in Love, reached number 12 in April 1978. ABBA replaced the Manhattan Transfer at number 1 with Knowing Me, Knowing You. This was the 9th of ABBA's 31 UK single chart entries, and the 5th of their 9 UK number 1 hits. It entered the chart at number 48 on the 20th of February, and it reached number 1 on the 27th of March. It stayed at the top of the chart for 5 weeks, and it spent a total of 13 weeks on the chart. Knowing Me, Knowing You was the third single released from ABBA's fourth studio album, Arrival. The album contained 10 tracks, and it spent 10 weeks at the top of the UK album chart. Knowing Me, Knowing You was the first of ABBA's 2 chart-topping singles in 1977. We'll hear more about their next number 1 single later in the video. American Denise Williams was next up to number 1 with Free. This was the first of Denise Williams' 6 UK singles chart entries, and it was her sole UK number 1 hit. It first charted at number 35 on the 27th of March, and it reached number 1 on the 1st of May, where it stayed for 2 weeks. The single spent a total of 10 weeks on the chart. Free was one of 7 tracks included on Denise Williams' debut album, This Is Niecy. The album reached number 26 on the UK album chart. Denise Williams charted 2 more times in 1977. That's What Friends Are For peaked at number 8 in August, before Baby, Baby My Love Is All For You reached number 32 in November. Next up to the top spot was Rod Stewart, with a double A-side containing covers of I Don't Want to Talk About It, originally by Crazy Horse, and Cat Stevens' The First Cut Is the Deepest. This single was the 13th of Rod Stewart's 64 UK singles chart entries, and it was the 4th of his 6 UK number 1 hits. It entered the chart at number 48 on the 17th of April, and it reached number 1 4 weeks later. It stayed at the top of the chart for 4 weeks, and it spent a total of 13 weeks on the chart.
Talk about first cut is the deepest, baby.
I Don't Want to Talk About It was one of 10 tracks contained on Rod Stewart's 1975 album Atlantic Crossing, which spent 7 weeks at the top of the UK album chart. The First Cut Is the Deepest was one of 9 tracks on his 1976 album A Night on the Town, which topped the UK album chart for 2 weeks. Rod Stewart next charted with You're in My Heart in October 1977, peaking at number 3. He then reached number 5 with the double A side of Hot Legs, and I Was Only Joking in early 1978. Kenny Rogers replaced Rod Stewart at number 1 with Lucille, for which Rogers won the Grammy Award for Best Male Country Vocal Performance in 1978. Including his 2 singles with the first edition, this gave Kenny Rogers the 3rd of his 12 UK charting singles, and it was the first of his 2 UK number 1 hits. Lucille first charted at number 48 on the 24th of April, and it reached number 1 on the 12th of June, where it stayed for a single week. It spent a total of 14 weeks on the chart.
Picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille.
Lucille was one of 11 tracks featured on Kenny Rogers' self-titled second studio album, which peaked at number 14 on the UK album chart. Kenny Rogers had one more charting single in 1977, with Daytime Friends reaching number 39 in September. Following that, it was 1979 before he charted again, with She Believes in Me reaching number 42. Following Kenny Rogers, it was the Jacksons with Show You the Way to Go, which was the group's second single since leaving Motown and changing their name from the Jackson 5. Show You the Way to Go gave the group the 13th of their 30 UK chart entries, and it was their sole UK number 1 hit. It first entered the chart at number 23 on the 29th of May, and it reached number 1 3 weeks later, where it stayed for a single week. It spent a total of 10 weeks on the chart.
Show you, let me show you the way to go.
Show You the Way to Go was included on the group's 11th studio album, The Jacksons, along with 9 other tracks. The album peaked at number 53 on the UK album chart. The Jacksons charted 2 more times in 1977. They peaked at number 22 with Dreamer in September, then they reached number 26 with Going Places in November. Next up to number 1, it was Hot Chocolate with So You Win Again, a song written by Russ Ballard and produced by Mickie Most. This was the 15th of Hot Chocolate's 35 UK charting singles, and it gave the group their sole UK number 1. It first charted at number 20 on the 12th of June, and it reached number 1 2 weeks later, where it stayed for 3 weeks. The single spent a total of 11 weeks on the chart. So You Win Again was one of 9 tracks included on Hot Chocolate's 4th studio album, Everyone's a Winner, which peaked at number 30 on the UK album chart. Hot Chocolate charted 1 more time in 1977, with Put Your Love in Me peaking at number 10 in December. Following that, they reached number 12 in April 1978, with Everyone's a Winner. Donna Summer replaced Hot Chocolate at number 1 with I Feel Love, which was produced and co-written by Giorgio Moroder and Pete Bellotte. I Feel Love was the 4th of Donna Summer's 43 UK charting singles, and it was her sole UK number 1 hit. It charted at number 15 on the 3rd of July, and it reached the top of the chart 2 weeks later. It stayed at number 1 for 4 weeks, and it spent a total of 11 weeks on the chart. I Feel Love was one of 8 tracks included on Donna Summer's 5th studio album, I Remember Yesterday. The album peaked at number 3 on the UK album chart. Donna Summer next charted with Down Deep Inside, the theme song from the 1977 film The Deep, which peaked at number 5 in September. She then reached number 14 with I Remember Yesterday in October. Following Donna Summer, it was The Brotherhood of Man with Angelo, a song which tells of a shepherd in Mexico who falls in love with a rich girl. Angelo was the 6th of the Brotherhood of Man's 10 UK charting singles, and it was the 2nd of the group's 3 number 1s. It first entered the chart at number 25 on the 3rd of July, and it reached number 1 on the 14th of August, where it stayed for a single week. It spent a total of 12 weeks on the chart. Angelo was one of 12 tracks included on the Brotherhood of Man's 4th album, Images. The album didn't register on the UK album chart. The Brotherhood of Man next charted with Figaro, which reached the top of the UK singles chart in February 1978. Following that, they reached number 15 with Beautiful Lover 4 months later. Up next, it was Detroit vocal group The Floaters with Float On. This was the Floaters' only single to register on the UK singles chart. It first charted at number 38 on the 17th of July, and it reached number 1 on the 21st of August. The song stayed at the top of the chart for a single week, and it spent a total of 11 weeks on the chart. Float On was the lead track on the group's debut studio album, Floaters. The album peaked at number 17 on the UK album chart. Elvis Presley replaced the Floaters with Way Down, which climbed to the number 1 spot in the weeks following Presley's death at the age of 42, on the 16th of August. Way Down was the 100th of Elvis Presley's UK charting singles, and it gave him the 17th of his 21 UK number 1 hits. It was his first number 1 in just over 7 years. Following the Wonder Review in 1970, the single entered the chart at number 46 on the 7th of August, and it reached number 1 3 weeks later, in the aftermath of Presley's passing. It stayed at the top of the chart for 5 weeks, and it spent a total of 13 weeks on the chart. Way Down was one of 10 tracks featured on Presley's final album, Moody Blue. The album peaked at number 3 on the UK album chart. There have been many singles chart appearances from Elvis following his untimely death. His recording of My Way peaked at number 9 on the UK singles chart in January 1978, and a release of Don't Be Cruel reached number 24 the following August. Following Elvis, it was David Soul with his second chart topper of the year, Silver Lady. This gave David Soul the third of his 5 UK singles chart appearances, and it was the second of his 2 career #1 hits. It entered the chart at number 30 on the 21st of August, and it reached number 1 on the 2nd of October, where it stayed for 3 weeks. The single spent a total of 14 weeks on the chart.
Come on, silver lady, take my word. I won't run.
Silver Lady was included on David Soul's second album, Playing to an Audience of One. The album contained 12 tracks, and it reached number 8 on the UK album chart. David Soul registered on the UK singles chart on 2 more occasions. He peaked at number 8 with Let's Have a Quiet Night in January 1978, and he reached number 12 with It Sure Brings Out the Love in Your Eyes the following June. Spanish vocal duo Bacara followed David Soul to number 1 with Yes Sir I Can Boogie. This was the first of Bacara's 3 UK singles chart entries, and it gave the duo their sole UK #1 hit. It entered the chart at number 50 on the 11th of September, and it reached number 1 on the 23rd of October. It stayed at the top of the chart for a single week, and it spent a total of 17 weeks on the chart.
I can boogie if you stay.
The song was the lead track on Bacara's self-titled debut album. The album contained 11 tracks, and it reached number 26 on the UK album chart. Bacara's next single to enter the chart was Sorry I'm a Lady in January 1978, which peaked at number 8. After that, Yes Sir I Can Boogie re-entered the chart for a week in 2020, at number 57. After Bacara, it was ABBA with their second chart topper of the year, The Name of the Game. This was the 10th of ABBA's 31 UK singles chart entries, and it gave the group the 6th of their 9 #1 hits. It entered the chart at number 20 on the 16th of October, and it reached the top spot 2 weeks later, where it stayed for 4 weeks. It spent a total of 12 weeks on the chart.
So I wanna know, what's the name of the game?
The Name of the Game was one of 9 tracks included on ABBA's 5th studio album, which spent 7 weeks at the top of the UK album chart. ABBA also reached the #1 spot with their next single, Take a Chance on Me, in February 1978. The follow-up single, Summer Night City, reached number 5 later the same year. The final #1 for the year was the Wings AA side, consisting of Mull of Kintyre coupled with Girls' School. This was the 15th of Wings' 21 UK singles chart entries, and it was the group's sole UK #1 hit. It entered the chart at number 48 on the 13th of November, and it reached the #1 spot 2 weeks later. It spent 9 weeks at number 1, and a total of 17 weeks on the chart. Neither Mull of Kintyre or Girls' School were included on any of Wings' studio albums, although Mull of Kintyre was included on the compilation Wings' Greatest in 1978. The album contained 12 tracks, and it reached number 5 on the UK album chart. Wings' next single was With a Little Luck, which peaked at number 5 in April 1978. They then reached number 42 with I've Had Enough 3 months later. And that concludes our review of the #1 singles of 1977. We hope you enjoyed it, and please come back for the next countdown. Thanks for watching.